The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched wide like the belly of some ancient beast. Lights floated in the air, casting soft blue shadows on the faces of 100 different species. The walls curved upward, covered in symbols from every member world. It was meant to feel welcoming. It was meant to feel like home for everyone. Ambassador stood at the human platform. She wore simple clothes, a dark suit with no medals or decorations. Her black hair was tied back, and her face showed no emotion. She had learned long ago that showing feelings in this hall only gave others weapons to use against her. Today was a vote, another vote. The humans had asked for something small this time. They wanted permission to build a medical station near the border of Council space. The station would help ships in trouble. It would save lives. Human lives, alien lives, all lives. The representative spoke first. He was tall, with gray skin and 4 arms that moved like water. His voice was smooth and cold. "The humans ask for too much again," he said. "A medical station today, a military base tomorrow. We all know how humans think. They spread like a disease." Said nothing. She had heard these words before many times. The delegate laughed. He was short and covered in brown fur with small eyes that always looked angry. "Let them build their station in their own space. Why should we trust them near our borders? Humans lie. Everyone knows this." Still stayed quiet. Her hands were folded in front of her. Her breathing was steady. More delegates spoke. The called humans dangerous. The said humans were too emotional. The claim that humans were secretly building weapons. None of them had proof. They never needed proof. In this hall, rumors were enough. The vote came quickly. 112 species voted against the human request. 3 voted in favor. 17 did not vote at all. The council leader, an ancient named Consul, struck his staff against the floor. The sound echoed through the hall like thunder. "The motion is announced. The humans may not build a medical station in border space. This session is concluded." Raised her hand. The hall went silent. Humans rarely spoke after losing a vote. They usually just accepted defeat and walked away. That was what the council expected. That was what they wanted. Consul looked at her with something like annoyance. "Ambassador, you wish to speak?" "Yes," she said. Her voice was calm and clear. "I wish to make a statement on behalf of humanity." Waved one of his 4 hands. "Very well, make it quick." Stepped forward to the central platform. Every eye in the hall turned to watch her. Some delegates whispered to each other. Others smiled, expecting some emotional outburst they could mock later. But did not shout. She did not cry. She did not beg. 347 years ago, she began, humanity joined this council. We were young then, new to the stars. We thought we had found a family. She paused and looked around the hall. In those 347 years, we have asked this council for 782 things. Land rights, trade agreements, scientific partnerships, medical projects, cultural exchanges. 782 requests. The hall was completely silent now. "Do you know how many were approved?" asked. 12. 12 requests in 347 years, and even those 12 were things that benefited other species more than us. The delegate shifted in his seat. The representative looked away. "We have been called dangerous," continued. "We have been called liars. We have been called a disease. We have heard every insult you can imagine. We have been blamed for problems we did not cause. We have been help we desperately needed. Our ships have been attacked and this council did nothing. Our colonies have been raided and this council looked away." Her voice remained steady. There was no anger in it, no sadness, just simple truth. "We asked ourselves for many years what we were doing wrong. We changed our ways. We followed your rules. We respected your customs. We gave gifts. We offered friendship. We did everything we could think of to earn your trust." She took a slow breath. "It was never enough. It will never be enough. We understand that now." Consul leaned forward. Ambassador, what is the point of this speech? The vote is finished. Your request was again. Yes, said. It was. And that is why I am here to tell you that humanity is leaving. The hall erupted in noise. Delegates shouted questions. Some laughed, others looked confused. Struck his staff 3 times to restore order. Leaving? What do you mean, leaving? I mean exactly what I said, replied. As of this moment, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. We withdraw from all treaties. We withdraw from all agreements. We are leaving. The delegate stood up. You cannot do this. There are procedures, forms, waiting periods. Almost smiled. Almost. We filed all the necessary paperwork 6 months ago, in secret. The waiting period ended yesterday. We simply chose today to make our announcement. The hall fell silent again. You are making a mistake, Consul said slowly. A terrible mistake. Do you think you can survive without the Council? Do you think anyone will trade with you? Do you think you will be safe? Looked at him with eyes that showed nothing. We survived before we met you, she said. We will survive after we leave you, and as for being safe, she shook her head. We were never safe here, not really. We were just too hopeful to see it. She turned and began to walk toward the exit. Wait, someone called. It was the representative, a thin creature with blue scales. You cannot just walk away. What about our agreements? What about the trade routes you manage? What about the medical supplies you provide? Stopped but did not turn around. Those were things we gave freely because we wanted to help, she said. We asked for nothing in return except friendship. You gave us contempt. Now you will have to find other ways to manage those things. We wish you well. And with those words, she walked out of the hall. Behind her, chaos erupted. Delegates screamed at each other. Some blamed the humans. Others blamed each other. A few sat in shocked silence, trying to understand what had just happened. Consul watched the door close behind. For a moment, something flickered across his ancient face. It might have been worry, it might have been regret, but he pushed it away quickly. Let them go, he announced loudly. We do not need humans. We never needed them. The galaxy will be better without their drama and their demands. Many delegates nodded and cheered. But not all of them. In dark corners of the hall, some representatives exchanged nervous glances. They remembered things, small things. A human doctor who had saved a dying colony, a human engineer who had fixed a broken station, a human diplomat who had prevented a war. Those memories stayed quiet for now, but they would grow louder in the days to come. Outside the hall, walked to her ship. Her aide, a young man named, waited for her at the dock. His face was pale. Is it done? He asked. It is done, she said. How do you feel? Looked back at the massive building one last time. 347 years of hope. 347 years of trying. All of it ending not with a bang, but with a quiet goodbye. I feel tired, she said, but also free. They boarded the ship and flew away. No one tried to stop them. No one even watched them go. The galaxy thought humans were making a foolish choice. The galaxy thought life would continue as normal. The galaxy was very, very wrong. 6 weeks passed after the humans left. Life in Council space continued as usual. Ships flew. Stations hummed. Markets traded. The great machine of galactic civilization rolled forward without missing a beat. At least, that was what everyone told themselves. On a planet called Prime, the first signs of trouble appeared quietly. A farmer coughed. A teacher felt dizzy. A child woke up with strange marks on her skin. Within 3 days, the coughs became worse. The dizziness turned into collapse. The strange marks spread across entire bodies like maps of some terrible country. They called it the Gray Death because of what it did to the skin. First came the gray patches, then came the fever, then came the bleeding. Most victims died within 2 weeks. There was no cure. There was barely even an understanding of what caused it. Medical Director stood in the central hospital of Prime's largest city. Around him, the hallways were filled with the sick and dying. His staff rushed from bed to bed, doing what little they could. The smell of fear and medicine hung heavy in the air. "How many today?" asked his assistant. 3,000 new cases, she replied. Her voice was hollow. "The rate is increasing." Closed his 4 eyes for a moment. 3,000. Yesterday it had been 2,000. The day before, 1,000. The numbers kept climbing like a ladder to hell. "Have we heard back from the council?" he asked. His assistant looked at the floor. They say they cannot spare medical supplies. They claim they have their own problems. They sent thoughts and prayers. "And the humans?" Silence. Opened his eyes. "I asked about the humans." "Sir," his assistant said carefully, "the humans are gone. They left the council, remember." Of course he remembered. Everyone remembered. But in moments of crisis, old habits returned. For centuries, when disaster struck anywhere in council space, the humans had always come. Their white ships with the red cross symbol would appear like angels from the void. Their doctors, their medicines, their strange but effective treatments. The humans were always there. Until now. "Send a message anyway," ordered. "Send it to their old embassy coordinates. Send it to every human frequency we know. Tell them what is happening. Ask for help." "Sir, they made it very clear they were leaving. They will not." "Send the message," snapped. Then he took a breath and calmed himself. "Please, just send it. Perhaps they will still show mercy. Perhaps they have not forgotten us entirely." The message was sent that evening. It flew across space at faster-than-light speeds, carrying the desperate words of a dying world. Days passed, no answer came. On the other side of council space, Commander sat in his small office aboard station. He was the last human official still in council territory, responsible for closing down the final human outposts. His job was almost finished. In a few more days, he would leave too, and there would be no humans left in this part of the galaxy at all. His communication device beeped. A message from the... Read it slowly. His face grew pale. "The Gray Death. Thousands infected. Spreading fast. Please help. Please send medical ships. Please remember us." He sat back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. Remember us. As if the humans had ever forgotten. As if the humans had ever stopped caring. That was not why they left. They left because caring was not enough when the universe refused to care back. He typed a reply. His fingers moved slowly, choosing each word with care. "This is Commander of the Human Withdrawal Authority. I have received your message. I am sorry to inform you that all human medical vessels have departed council space. There are no resources remaining that I can send to you. I have forwarded your request to Human Central Command, but I cannot promise any response. The decision to help or not help now rests with people above my authority. I am truly sorry. I wish things were different." He sent the message, and then sat in silence for a long time. On Prime, Medical Director received the reply. He read it 3 times, hoping he had misunderstood, but the words were clear. The humans were not coming. There were no ships to send. They were alone. He walked through the hospital halls that night past rows of dying patients. Their gray skin seemed to glow in the dim light. Their breathing was shallow and wet. Some reached out to him as he passed, begging for help he could not give. In one room he found a young mother holding her child. Both were infected. Both were dying. "Where are the human doctors?" the mother whispered. "My grandmother told me stories. When she was sick as a girl, the humans came. They saved her whole village. Where are they now?" Had no answer. He could only stand there, his 4 arms hanging useless at his sides. "They left," he finally said. We asked them to leave many times, and finally they listened." The mother closed her eyes. A single tear ran down her gray cheek. Word of the crisis spread through council space. Other species watched the news from Prime with mixed feelings. Some felt sympathy. Others felt relief that it was not their world suffering. A few felt a quiet fear they did not want to examine too closely. In the council halls, debates began about what to do. The proposed sending observers to study the disease, the suggested quarantine measures to protect other worlds, the recommended prayers to their gods. No one proposed actually helping the. Why should we risk our own people? The delegate argued. They have always been arrogant. Let them solve their own problems. Besides, the representative added, we do not have the medical expertise for something like this. These diseases are complex. We need specialists. The humans had specialists, someone muttered. No one acknowledged the comment. Meanwhile, the death toll on Prime continued to rise. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. The hospitals overflowed. The morgues filled. Mass graves appeared on the edges of cities like wounds in the earth. Commander received regular updates. Each report was worse than the last. He began to drink heavily, something he had not done in years. The alcohol helped him sleep. Without it, he saw their faces every time he closed his eyes. The sick, the dying, the ones he could not help. One night, he received a personal message from Medical Director. Commander, I do not blame you. I do not blame any human. I blame myself. I blame my people. We were cruel to you. We called you names. We your requests. We treated you like enemies when you only wanted to be friends. Now we are dying and we have no right to ask for your tears, but I wanted you to know that some of us understand. Some of us see the truth now. It is too late for us, but perhaps not too late for the galaxy. Perhaps others will learn from our mistake. Goodbye, Commander. I hope your people find happiness wherever they go. Read the message again and again. Then he wrote a reply. Medical Director, your words mean more than you know. I will share them with my people. And for what it is worth, I am sorry. I am so very sorry. If I could help you, I would. If I could turn back time, I would. But all I can do now is remember you. And I promise you we will. Humanity does not forget those who showed kindness even at the end. Stay strong. Die with dignity. And know that somewhere in the stars, someone is grieving for you. He sent the message. 2 days later, he received word that Medical Director had died. The Gray Death had taken him, just like it was taking everyone else on Prime. Finished his work at station. He closed the last office, shut down the last computer and turned off the lights. Then he boarded his ship and flew away, leaving council space behind forever. As his ship crossed the border into human territory, he looked back at the stars one final time. Goodbye, he whispered. We tried, we really tried. Behind him, in the darkness of council space, they continued to die. And slowly, quietly, other species began to wonder if perhaps the humans had been more important than anyone wanted to admit. The first absence was felt, more would follow. 3 months after humanity left, the trade routes began to fail. It started small, a shipment delayed here, a cargo lost there, nothing that seemed important at first. The galaxy was vast and small problems happened all the time. People shrugged and moved on with their lives. But the small problems grew into bigger ones. Captain Minu had been a human merchant for 40 years. His family had run trade ships for 5 generations. They knew the space lanes better than anyone. They knew which routes were safe and which were dangerous. They knew which ports had fair prices and which had cheaters. They knew the tricks of navigation that kept goods flowing from one end of the galaxy to the other. Now Minu sat on his family's home station in human space, watching the news from council territory. He shook his head slowly. They never understood, he said to his daughter Jin. She looked up from her data pad, understood what father. How much we did for them. He pointed at the screen which showed images of empty docks and idle ships. See those routes, the corridor, the exchange, the supply chain. We built those, humans. We figured out the safe paths through the asteroid fields. We mapped the gravity wells. We negotiated the port agreements. Jin frowned. I thought the council did all that. That is what they wanted everyone to believe. Minyu laughed, but there was no joy in it. The council took credit for our work. They put their names on our charts. They claimed our discoveries as their own, and we let them because we wanted peace. We wanted to belong. On the screen, an official was giving a speech about the temporary disruption in trade. He promised that new routes would be established soon. He promised that the economy would recover. He promised many things. Minyu turned off the screen. "He is lying," he said. "They cannot replace what we built, not in months, not in years, maybe not ever." In the Empire, the truth of Minyu's words became clear very quickly. The controlled 12 systems, each one dependent on trade from the others. Food from one system, fuel from another, medicine from a third. The whole empire was like a body with many organs, each one needing blood from the others to survive. And the humans had been the blood. Human ships had carried 60% of all internal trade. Human pilots knew the shortcuts. Human engineers maintained the relay stations. Human negotiators kept the peace between rival port authorities. Without them, the whole system began to choke. Minister stood before the Grand Council, trying to explain the situation. His voice was tight with barely controlled fear. "The transit hub is refusing to process our cargo," he reported. "They say our ships do not have proper clearance codes. The codes were issued by humans. Now that the humans are gone, they do not recognize them." "Then get new codes," the Grand Master demanded. "We tried. They want us to pay for new codes. The price is very high." "How high?" Named a number. The Grand Council gasped. "That is robbery," someone shouted. "That is business," replied bitterly. "The humans used to handle these negotiations for us. They kept the prices fair. They had relationships with everyone. We have nothing." In the systems, the situation was even worse. They were a peaceful species who had never developed strong trade skills. They had always relied on others to bring them what they needed. For centuries, that meant relying on humans. Elder walked through the markets of Prime. The stalls that once overflowed with goods from across the galaxy now sat half empty. Sellers shouted prices that would have been unthinkable a few months ago. Buyers walked away with empty hands and angry faces. "Where is the grain from Prime?" a shopper demanded. "There is no grain from Prime," the seller replied. "They are dying from plague. No one is farming." "Then where is the grain from the worlds?" "They are charging triple prices, and their ships cannot find safe routes without the human navigation data. Half the cargo spoils before it arrives." The shopper cursed and walked away. Elder watched this scene repeat itself a dozen times. He thought about all the years that had voted against human requests in the council. He thought about all the speeches his people had given about human greed and human lies. He thought about how easy it had been to blame humans for every problem. Now the humans were gone, and the problems were so much worse. He returned to his government office and called an emergency meeting. "We need to find a solution," he told his advisors. "Our people are starting to go hungry. If this continues, there will be riots." "What solution?" one advisor asked. "We do not have ships. We do not have pilots. We do not have the knowledge the humans had." "Then we must get that knowledge." "From where?" "The humans are not sharing. The other council species are too busy protecting themselves. Everyone is hoarding what they have." Slammed his fist on the table. "Then we will build our own capabilities. We will train our own pilots. We will chart our own routes." His advisors exchanged uncomfortable looks. "Elder," one of them said gently, "with respect, that will take generations. The humans spent centuries developing their trade networks. We cannot rebuild that in weeks or months." "Then what do you suggest?" "Silence." The silence spread across council space like a slow poison. In meeting rooms and council chambers, on space stations and planetary capitals, leaders asked the same question and received the same empty answer. "What do we do now?" Some tried to adapt. The hired pilots to replace the humans on their most important routes, but the pilots did not know the shortcuts. They did not know the safe paths. They flew longer routes that used more fuel and took more time. Costs went up. Deliveries slowed down. They tried to build new relay stations to replace the human ones they had lost, but their engineers made mistakes. 3 stations exploded during construction. A 4th was built in the wrong location and had to be abandoned. The project fell years behind schedule and billions over budget. They tried to create their own navigation charts, but mapping space was slow, dangerous work. Ships were lost, crews died, and the charts they produced were crude and incomplete compared to what the humans had built. Meanwhile, prices continued to rise. Food became expensive, then scarce, then precious. Fuel became a luxury. Medicine became a dream. The great economies of council space, built over thousands of years, began to crack and crumble. On the human home station, Captain Menu received reports from his old contacts in council space. Smugglers, mostly. People who still moved between the 2 regions despite the official separation. "It is bad," his contact told him. "Really bad. People are starting to starve on some of the outer worlds. They are rationing fuel. They are talking about emergency measures." Minu shook his head. "And what are they saying about us?" His contact laughed. "Some still blame you. They say humans sabotaged the routes before leaving. They say humans are secretly blocking trade to punish the council. And the truth? The truth is that you did nothing. You simply stopped doing everything you used to do, and that was enough to bring them to their knees." After the call ended, Minu sat in the darkness of his office for a long time. His daughter Jin found him there hours later. "Father, are you all right?" He looked up at her with tired eyes. "I spent my whole life helping them. Your grandfather did the same, and his mother before him. 5 generations of our family, carrying goods across the stars, asking for nothing but fair treatment and honest pay." "I know, Father. They never thanked us, not once. They took our work and called it their own. They took our knowledge and claimed they invented it. They took everything we offered and gave back only insults." Jin sat beside him. "Are you angry?" Minu thought about it for a long moment. "No," he finally said. "I am not angry, I am just tired and sad. We could have built something wonderful together, all of us. Humans and all the rest. We could have been partners, we could have been family. But they did not want that." "No, they did not," he sighed deeply. "And now they are learning what it means to be alone." Outside the station, the stars burned cold and distant. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was falling apart piece by piece, and humanity watched from the shadows, offering no help and no blame. Just silence. 6 months after humanity left, the archives began to speak. It started with a young researcher named. She was studying old council records for her academic work, trying to understand how trade agreements had been negotiated in the past. She expected to find boring documents full of legal language and official stamps. Instead, she found the humans. The first file she opened was a treaty from 200 years ago. The official version, the one taught in schools, said that the trade agreement was created by brilliant diplomats who outsmarted the stubborn negotiators. The real version was different. The real version showed that the talks had completely failed until a human diplomat named Elder stepped in. The end had been screaming at each other for months. Neither side would give an inch. War seemed likely. Then arrived. She met with both sides separately. She listened to their concerns. She found common ground that no one else had seen. Within 3 weeks, she had created a framework that satisfied everyone. They took credit. His name was removed from the final document at the request of both parties. They did not want to admit that a human had solved their problem. Stared at the screen for a long time. Then she searched for more files. She found hundreds of them. a human engineer who had saved a space station from exploding. His design was stolen and patented by a company. He received nothing. A human medical team that had stopped a plague on a colony world. The government announced that their own doctors had found the cure. The human team was quietly sent home. A human pilot named Jin who had discovered the safest route through the asteroid belt. His maps were and distributed across council space with his name removed. When he complained, he was told that humans could not claim ownership of natural discoveries. Story after story, theft after theft, humans giving everything and receiving nothing but contempt. Compiled her findings into a report. She sent it to her academic supervisor, expecting praise for her thorough research. Instead, she received a warning. "Do not publish this," her supervisor told her. "It will cause problems. The council does not want people asking questions about the humans, not now." "But it is the truth," protested. "People deserve to know." "The truth is whatever the council says it is. Forget the humans. Focus on your real work." Did not forget, she could not forget. She leaked her findings to an underground news network. Within days, the information spread across council space like fire through dry grass. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, chaos erupted once again. "This is lies," the delegate shouted. "Human propaganda meant to make us look bad." "Then explain these documents," the representative demanded, holding up a data pad. "These are from our own archives. Our own records show that humans did the work we claimed was ours." "Ancient history, it does not matter now." "It matters," a quiet voice said. Everyone turned to look at the speaker. It was Counselor, an elderly woman who had served on the council for 50 years. She was known for her silence. She rarely spoke in debates. When she did, people listened. Stood slowly, her forearms folded across her chest. "I knew Ambassador," she said. "I knew her grandmother too. 3 generations of that family served as human ambassadors to this council. Do you know what they all had in common?" No one answered. Hope said. "They all had hope. Every time we rejected them, every time we insulted them, every time we stole from them, they came back with hope. They believed that someday we would change. They believed that patience and kindness would eventually win our respect." She looked around the hall with old, tired eyes. "We broke them," she continued. "Not with violence, not with war. We broke them with indifference. We broke them by taking their gifts and pretending they came from ourselves. We broke them by treating their kindness as weakness and their patience as stupidity." The hall was completely silent. "I have something to share," said. She pulled out a small device and activated it. A hologram appeared in the center of the hall. It showed a recording of Ambassador speaking directly to the camera. "If you are watching this," Image said, "then I am gone and the humans have left. This message is for the archives, for history, for anyone who wants to understand why we made this choice." His face was calm but sad. "We did not leave because we were angry," she continued. "We left because we were tired. There is only so many times you can offer your hand in friendship and have it slapped away. There is only so many times you can help someone and be told your help was worthless. There is only so many times you can love and receive nothing but hatred in return." The delegates watched in frozen silence. "We wanted to belong," said. "That was all we ever wanted, not power, not control, not dominance. We just wanted to be accepted. We wanted to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We wanted family." Her voice cracked slightly. "You gave us nothing. You gave us worse than nothing. You gave us the pain of hope constantly disappointed. You gave us the wound of love constantly rejected. You gave us 347 years of trying and failing and trying again." She took a deep breath. "So now we are leaving, not to punish you, not to prove a point. We are leaving because staying would kill us. Not our bodies, our souls, our spirit, our belief that the universe can be good. We are leaving to save ourselves." The recording paused for a moment. When it resumed, looked directly at the camera. "But I want you to know something. Despite everything, we do not hate you. We cannot hate you. Hatred would mean we still care, and we have no more caring left to give. All we have is exhaustion and sadness and the faint hope that someday, somewhere, we will find what we were looking for." She managed a small, broken smile. "Goodbye, Galactic Council. We wish you well. We truly do. Perhaps in another life, in another universe, things could have been different. But in this one, all we can do is walk away before we lose ourselves completely." The recording ended. The silence in the hall lasted for a very long time. Finally, the delegate spoke. His voice was quiet and uncertain. "I did not know. I did not understand." "None of us did," someone else said. "Or perhaps we did not want to understand." Counselor sat down heavily. "I have carried this recording for 6 months, gave it to me before she left. She asked me to share it when the time was right." "Why now?" Consul asked. "Because now you might actually listen," replied. "Before, you were too proud. Before, you still thought you were right and the humans were wrong. But now," she gestured at the chaos around them, "now you have seen what life looks like without them. Now you know the truth you refused to see." The delegate stood up. "We must bring them back. We must apologize. We must make things right." How asked. "What could we possibly offer them now? They do not trust us. They do not need us. They do not want us. We had centuries to earn their friendship and we threw away every chance." "There must be something," the delegate insisted. Shook her head slowly. "Sometimes there is no fixing what you have broken. Sometimes all you can do is live with the consequences of your choices." She looked around the hall one final time. Elder, the diplomat I mentioned earlier, kept records of everything. Every kindness humans showed, every insult they received, every gift they gave, every theft committed against them. I have transferred those records to the public archives. Anyone who wants to see the truth can now see it. She walked toward the exit. Counselor called, "Where are you going?" She paused at the door. "I am retiring. I am old and tired, and I no longer wish to be part of this body. You will have to find your way forward without me, without the humans, without anyone to blame for your failures." She left, and she did not look back. In the days that followed, the archives were accessed by billions of beings across Council space. They read the stories. They saw the evidence. They understood, finally, what humanity had been and what the galaxy had lost. Some refused to believe. Some called it fake. Some blamed the humans for creating the records themselves. But most simply felt a deep, aching shame. The kind of shame that comes when you realize you have destroyed something precious and there is no way to get it back. The void left by humanity was not just economic or practical. It was emotional. It was spiritual. It was the void left when you lose someone who loved you and realize too late that you never loved them back. And somewhere in the distant stars, humanity waited, not for revenge, not for apologies, just for peace. They had given enough. Now they wanted only to rest. 1 year after humanity left, the Galactic Council sent ships to the abandoned human stations. It was not an invasion. It was not even an official mission. It was a small group of delegates who could no longer bear the uncertainty. They needed to see for themselves what the humans had left behind. They needed to understand. The expedition was led by a young named. He had never met a human in person. He had grown up hearing stories about how dangerous and deceitful they were. He had believed those stories until 6 months ago, when the archives opened and the truth came flooding out. Now he stood on the bridge of his small ship, watching the human border grow closer on the... "Are you sure about this?" his pilot asked. She was, with blue scales that shimmered nervously in the dim light. "No," admitted, "but I have to know, we all do." The border was not defended. There were no warships, no weapons, no warnings. The humans had simply drawn a line and asked the galaxy to respect it, and somehow, despite everything, the galaxy had obeyed, perhaps out of guilt, perhaps out of fear, perhaps simply because there was nothing left to fight for. They crossed into human space and flew toward the nearest abandoned station. It was called Gateway Point, and it had once been the busiest human trading post in Council territory. Thousands of ships had passed through it every day. Now it hung dark and silent against the stars. Ship docked at an empty port. The airlock still worked. The lights flickered on as they entered, responding to ancient sensors that had been waiting for visitors. "Atmosphere is breathable," the pilot reported. "No signs of danger." They walked through the empty corridors. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. Everything was clean and orderly, as if the humans had just stepped out for a moment and would return any second. But they would not return, knew that now. In the main hall, they found the first surprise. Gardens. Not dead gardens, not abandoned plots of dirt. Living gardens, still growing, still green, still beautiful. Flowers bloomed in colors had never seen. Vines climbed up walls and across ceilings. Small fountains bubbled with clear water. "How is this possible?" the pilot whispered. "The station has been empty for a year." Knelt beside a flower bed. A small plaque was embedded in the soil. He read it aloud. "We planted these gardens for anyone who might come after us. The automated systems will keep them alive. We hope they bring you joy. They brought us joy during the hard years. May they remind you that even in darkness, life finds a way to grow." He stood up slowly, his chest tight with emotions he did not fully understand. They continued exploring. In a storage room, they found crates labeled with the names of different council species. Gifts, thousands of gifts, art and books and tools and medicines, all carefully packed and preserved. Another plaque explained, "We made these gifts over many years, hoping to give them to you someday. That day never came, but we could not bring ourselves to destroy them. If you find this, please take what you need. These were made with love. They should be used with love." The pilot began to cry. Her tears ran down her scales and dripped onto the floor. "Why?" she asked. "Why did they still make gifts for us, after everything we did to them?" Had no answer. He could only shake his head and keep walking. In the station's central plaza, they found the final message. It was a hologram, waiting patiently for someone to activate it. Touched the control panel and a human appeared before them. It was not Ambassador. It was a young man with a gentle face and sad eyes. His name tag said Sung. "Hello," Sung said. "If you are watching this, then you have found our station. We hope you came in peace. We always hoped you would come in peace." He paused, as if gathering his thoughts. "I was born on this station," he continued. "My parents worked here and their parents before them. 5 generations of my family lived and worked in council space, trying to build bridges between our peoples. We failed, but I want you to know that we never stopped trying." Sung gestured around him. "Everything you see here was built by humans who believed in friendship. The gardens, the gifts, the trade routes, the medical supplies, the navigation charts, all of it. We did not do these things because we wanted power or profit. We did them because we wanted to be part of something bigger than ourselves." His voice grew softer. "You rejected us. Again and again and again you rejected us. And every time it hurt, not just our pride, our hearts, our souls. We loved you and you did not love us back. That is the worst kind of pain there is." Sung looked directly at the camera. "But even now, even after everything, we do not hate you. We cannot hate you. You are alive. You are beautiful. You are part of this amazing universe that we all share. How can we hate you for being what you are?" He smiled sadly. "We are leaving because we have to. Because staying would destroy us. Because we need to find a place where our love can be returned or at least accepted. But we want you to know something before we go." He took a deep breath. We wish you well, truly, from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you find happiness. We hope you build a good future. We hope you learn to love each other even if you could not love us." His image flickered slightly. "Maybe someday, far in the future, we will meet again. Maybe by then things will be different. Maybe by then you will be ready for friendship. We will be waiting. We will always be waiting. Because that is what hope is. The belief that tomorrow can be better than today." Sung raised one hand in a simple wave. "Goodbye, Council. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember us if you can. Not as enemies, not as strangers, but as friends you never got to know." The hologram faded away. Stood in the empty plaza, surrounded by gardens that humans had planted for people who had never thanked them. He thought about all the history he had learned, all the stolen discoveries, all the rejected friendships, all the love thrown away like garbage. "What do we do now?" the pilot asked. Walked to one of the gift crates and opened it. Inside were small carved figures, each one representing a different council species, a with careful scales, a with proud features, a with all four arms raised in greeting. Human hands had made these. Human hearts had hoped that someday these gifts would bring smiles to faces that had never smiled at them. He picked up the figure and held it carefully. "We remember," he said. "We remember what they were. We remember what they gave us. We remember what we lost." "Is that enough?" Thought about the question for a long time. "No," he finally said. "It is not enough. Nothing will ever be enough. But it is all we can do now. We missed our chance. We had centuries to choose differently and we chose wrong. Now all we can do is live with that choice and try to be better." He looked up at the stars visible through the station's windows. "Maybe someday, like the message said, things will be different. Maybe someday we will earn a second chance. But that will not come from words or wishes. It will come from changing who we are, from becoming the kind of people the humans always believed we could be." They gathered samples of the gardens and copies of the message. They took some of the gifts, handling them with reverence they had never shown before. Then they left the station and flew back to council space. Gave his report to the full council. He showed them the gardens and the gifts and the final message. He watched as delegates who had spent years mocking humans sat in silence, their faces showing emotions they could not hide. "We comprehend now," Consul said quietly. "Too late, but we comprehend." And across council space, in homes and offices and ships and stations, billions of beings watched the recording of Sung's farewell. Some wept, some raged, some simply sat in silence, feeling the weight of all the chances they had wasted. Humanity was gone. They had left without a whisper of anger or revenge. They had left only kindness behind, one final gift from a people who had been given nothing but pain. And in that silence, in that gentle absence, the galaxy finally understood what it had lost. Not just doctors and traders and diplomats, not just skills and knowledge and networks. They had lost friends, real friends, the kind who love you even when you hurt them, the kind who give even when they receive nothing, the kind who hope even when hope seems foolish. The galaxy had lost its heart, and now it would have to learn to beat on its own. Perhaps someday the humans would return. Perhaps someday bridges could be rebuilt. But that day was far away, hidden somewhere in a future that nobody could see. For now, there was only the void. The garden still growing in empty stations, the gifts still waiting in dusty crates, and the echo of a message that would ring through history forever. "We wish you well, we truly do." Humanity had left, and finally, at long last, the council comprehended it.